What's good, YouTube? Hope everybody's having a good day. Today we're going to discuss situational awareness. So today I want you to think about how good is your situational awareness? Are you really paying attention to everything and everybody that's around you to make sure that you are safe and those that are with you are safe? Your loved ones, your wife, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, kids, whatever. Are they safe enough with you while you are out and about in public? When it comes to firearms training, you'll hear people say the bad guy is always watching. Very true. The bad guy is always watching. So you, as a person who is carrying concealed, you need to be aware of what's going on around you. Not only that, but you should also be able to teach your family some of these skills as well, to make sure that they're paying attention to what's going on around. They're not so focused on their phones that they're not seeing the bad guy watching them and approaching them. Or by the time the bad guy is right there in front of your face, you're already behind the power curve at that point. Situational awareness is one of these things that, you can see the situation unfolding and recognize the signs way before anything happens, so you can make some decisions as to whether or not, hey, I don't need to be here, I need to move, I need to get my family to this spot or whatever. You can see these things before they start taking place. Bad guys are predictable, and most of the time, no matter where you're at, who you're with, what you're doing, bad guys always follow the same traits. So I want you to watch this video, and during the video I want you to really think about what it is that's taking place, what you would have done in that situation, how you would have responded to it as well. At the end of the day, the main goal is to make it home to your family. Now, you'll see in this video that the guy that is the victim in the video, he's probably outside of the business, he's at his business, it's late at night. They're probably closing down the store. He is walking out to his vehicle, probably putting something in the vehicle, walking back into the store. And at that time, as he's walking away from his vehicle, headed back into the front door of his business, a vehicle pulls up, somebody jumps out, starts giving him commands. He sees that this guy has a police vest on him. He's probably thinking, okay, it's a cop. I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing, following commands. I'm not trying to get shot or whatever. And come to find out, this suspect is impersonating a police officer. So you've got a couple different things that need to take place during that time. You recognize this threat, and then all of a sudden your guard comes down because you realize that, hey, he's got a police vest on. It's not a threat. But we all know, we've all seen, live PD. We've seen, police takedowns here and there. So you kind of know what cops, how they operate, what they do. And very, very rarely are you going to get one officer, whether it's an officer, detective, SWAT guy, federal agent, whatever, by themselves doing something like this. The guy is outside with this person impersonating a police officer. And while he's following commands and everything, I'm quite sure in his mind, I'm not going to sit here Monday morning quarterback the whole thing, but we kind of are going to do that throughout this. He sees this whole thing taking place. He's following the orders that's given to him. His wife realizes that something's bad is going on outside. She's inside. You'll see it in the video. She comes outside with her firearm, goes to full presentation. I wouldn't even say full presentation. Presents her firearm, fires a shot at the guy. Guy takes off. But I want you to look at this video, and I want you to watch it completely all the way through. And like I said, let me know in the comments what you would have done in the situation. Not only that, but how do you think this husband and wife reacted to what was taking place? Check it out.
The victim says he repeatedly identified himself as a cop until he forced him to the ground, but he didn't know someone else was watching.
Yeah, the victim actually ended up shooting at the suspect. We know at least one of those shots landed. Police say the suspect later turned up at the hospital. But get this, they haven't yet filed any charges against him. And the victim's convinced he had accomplices. Police telling us this is all still under investigation. Javier Reyes and his wife in an armed confrontation with a suspected police impersonator June 15th outside the liquor store they own at Gessner and Harwin.
He say, I'm the police. Pull up your hand, get on the floor, I'm the police, I'm the police.
Reyes had just gone to take out the trash when a red car pulls up. Then a masked man runs up with a flashlight and gun, wearing a vest with the word Marshal on it.
They told me I'm a cop. I'm the police. Get out on the floor. And I say, I don't do anything.
You only see that one suspect in the video, but Reyes says there was another person driving the car he arrived in. Reyes says the man forces him to the ground and soon reveals his true intentions.
And when he gave me the floor, he told me, it's a robbery, I'm not the police.
Watching this all from inside the store, Reyes' wife quickly grabs a gun, then confronts the armed suspect. He runs, losing his shoes and his gun in the process, while Reyes draws his own weapon. He fires multiple rounds, at least one of which hits the suspect, who then crawls to his getaway car. Reyes firing a final parting shot as the car drives away.
The police told me I did a great job.
Both he and his wife are okay, but he shudders to think how differently things could have turned out. When the suspect demanded Reyes' valuables,
I say no, and he put the gun in my head, and they told me I can kill you right now.
But the fake cop clearly wasn't a match for two plucky business owners.
All right, so that woman came out ready to do work. She saw from inside the store what was going on outside with her husband in the situation that he was in, and she came out ready to protect him and also rescue him from what was taking place. I'm going to nitpick this a little bit, but the important part of it, while we're nitpicking it, we're just looking at certain things, and it's for training purposes. I'm not saying that they did anything wrong, because in my eyes and in the eyes of the law, they protected themselves. They get to go home to their children at the end of the night. Or not only that, they get to go home with each other at the end of the night. That man knows that his wife is there protecting him, watching his six no matter what. So we're going to look at the video, certain parts of the video, and you're going to see areas where things could have been better, you know. And the thing is, when it comes down to carrying a firearm on you, you've got to practice, you've got to train, you've got to do certain things throughout the day, throughout your week, throughout your normal everyday life to make sure that you are proficient with that firearm. We're going to show some things, but take a look. Now, you'll notice in the video that the victim did see the car pulling up. He may have noticed it and thought, okay, it's late at night, somebody's coming in to the parking lot, and left it at that. I'm going to say, if you're owning a business and it's late at night, you're closing down, you should probably always be aware of what's going on inside that parking lot, because if you have to step outside the front of the store or the back of the store, you should know exactly what's going on in that parking lot before you step outside the door. Not only that, if you got your firearm on you, it needs to be ready. Yes, the bad guy did jump out of the car, and he was giving commands saying he's the police, he's this, he's that, and he had on a vest that said police on it. Nowadays is that you can buy this shit online anywhere that you want. Probably get it, you know, get all the patches off of Amazon, Temu for those of you that like to shop at Temu, maybe even Wish. I don't even know. I'm not a Wish shopper, but you can buy a bulletproof vest online. These plate carriers, you can get them at just about anywhere. In a fast-moving, dynamic situation, you might not pay attention to the small details of that vest. Now, more than likely, you know, like I said earlier, if the police show up, it's not just going to be one cop. It's going to be a whole group with them. It doesn't matter if you're one man, three men, whatever. You're not getting taken down by just one cop. It's going to be, if they're jumping out on you, it's going to be a group with them. It's not just going to be one. This victim did at that time see what was going on. He's obeying the commands that are being given to him. He's doing exactly what he thought was right at the moment. Something to keep in mind, this suspect who has already got his firearm out and pointed at the victim, you're not going to make it if you're going to draw on a gun that's already drawn on you. You're going to get shot. So he played it safe, did exactly what he's supposed to be doing. We'll say he complied and did what he thought what he was supposed to be doing based on the situation as it was taking place at that time. Once the suspect got the victim down on the ground, he let him know that this is a robbery. It's obvious at that point, this guy's not the police. So now you're in a robbery situation. What can you do? What are you going to do? He is faced with a whole slew of things that he can do to get out of this. However, he's got a gun pointed at his head, and it's always going to be, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? He complied. There's nothing wrong with that. He complied. He made it out safely. Now, here's something to think about. Where are you carrying your firearm? You'll see people that carry small of the back of the hip, on the hip, appendix, on their ankle, whatever. The problem we run into is, are you practicing how you're carrying that firearm? Are you practicing drawing your firearm from different positions, uncomfortable positions, not just the regular everyday me sitting in a chair, me standing up, me walking positions? Are you practicing drawing that firearm from laying on your stomach, laying on your back? If you're on your back, can you get to your firearm if it's behind your hip, or if it's in the small of your back, which probably is not going to be a good spot for it? If you've got somebody sitting on top of you in a top mount position and they're doing this whole ground and pound thing, can you get to your firearm? Now you're going to see the wife who is inside the store. She's seeing this whole thing take place outside. She grabs her gun, comes from around the counter, pushes through the door, has gun in hand. As she's pointing it, she probably pulled the trigger, but you see in the video, she had to rack it to get around in the chamber before she started putting shots on her target. People that talk about always having a round in the chamber, or I don't carry a round in the chamber, that's going to be a level of comfort. However, I'm going to tell you that if you're carrying your firearm, it should always be ready. By the time that gun comes out of the holster, it should be ready to be fired from any position, whether you're drawing from your hip, bang, 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 bang. You're drawing from appendix, bang, 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 bang. You should not have to worry about having to rack around in the chamber, because in a stressful situation, you're going to revert to your lowest level of training. If you train all the time to draw your firearm, rack around in, fire around, that's what's going to happen. And it's probably going to be worse than that, because stress does a whole lot of crazy things to the body. But you're pulling the trigger, and in your mind, you're thinking the gun should be going bang, and all of a sudden the gun is instead going click. It's going to be the loudest sound you're going to hear, click, and then you got to remember, rack it, get around in there, and then put one in. Keep around in the chamber of your gun. Make sure that gun is always ready to go. But again, we go back to training. You should be training for different types of scenarios. This situation that took place for these two people, this could be a situation where you practice it over and over and over again. What would I do? How would I get my firearm into the fight? See the wife come out, she fires around, guy takes off running, because the bad guy probably was not expecting the wife to be there. Probably wasn't expecting the wife to have a firearm. Let's give this woman a round of applause, standing ovation at that, for what she just did. And you'll see that the victim was able to get his gun into the fight. Of course, he's carrying appendix, so he had to stand up, get the gun out, fire off a couple of rounds. Of course, this is after the wife came out and took a shot at the guy, causing him to run off. Our victim fires off a couple of rounds at him. I believe he hit him once or twice, but he was able to get his gun into the fight. Again, like I said, this is something that you're going to need to practice. Getting the gun out, getting your rounds on target, especially in a stressful situation.
The police told me I did a great job.
So overall, I'm going to say that this husband and wife did exactly what they needed to do in order to survive this situation. Yes, there are some things that they could probably work on, but at the end of the day, they survived. And I will say, nobody's going to care about the tactics and, what you did and what you didn't do 10, 20 years from now. All they're going to look at is the fact that you survived. However, let's go back to the whole training of everything. Train. And when you're done, train some more, because you can never know enough. You can never learn enough to make yourself a better protector for yourself and also for your family. Make sure that you are on the range doing things that count for something. Whether it's you're working on precision, you're working on speed, you're working on shooting from different positions, you're working on fighting from inside of your vehicle, working on moving to cover, all of these things that you need to be looking at that make you a better protector when it comes to carrying a firearm on a day-to-day basis. But also make sure that your situational awareness is exactly where it needs to be, and you're paying attention to what's going on around you, because situations like this, they happen all the time. And we can turn on the news at any given time of the day, open up a newspaper for those of us who still read newspapers, or in your Facebook, social media feed, whatever. If you're following news companies, you're going to see it. You're going to look at these situations and think, how did that happen? What would I have done if I was in that situation? What could I have done to make things better? And it's not so much about nitpicking these things as they happen throughout the day or throughout somebody else's life, because everybody, no matter who you are, you're going to react to things differently. Everybody's going to react to things differently. Not everybody's going to be the same. Trust me, I've seen cops freeze up. I've seen soldiers freeze up. I've seen regular civilians excel when it comes to these type of stressful situations. But it's based on training. If you're going to train, do it right. Because at the end of the day, your life depends on it. You want to make sure that you go home to your family at the end of the night. You want to make sure that your family is there. You want to make sure that you're taking care of them and protecting them. So if you're going to do it, train the right way. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.